In this video, we are talking about Nintendo reportedly being pretty upset at Universal for how Super Nintendo World is looking during these tech rehearsals. Nintendo, again, reportedly not a happy camper. We're going to talk about it up next on OG 55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG 55. So I think I made like 2 videos related to this topic, right? About how honestly kind of shoddy some of the work has been in regards to like the construction or whatever, the maintenance. I don't even know who to really blame. But since Nintendo World has been sort of doing their technical rehearsals, there's been a lot of images coming out of that land of like, grout being smeared all over the facades, like work was done and just kind of left like unfinished. Just sections of showpieces just missing. Just a lot of examples of this kind of stuff. And look, when I made those videos, a lot of people kind of got on me like, oh, but OG, it's a tech rehearsal. It's a tech rehearsal. Telling you, and I even said it in that video, tech rehearsal isn't like just like a blank check just to like have crap show, right? Tech rehearsal is there to like let guests know that if the ride breaks down or something like that, that just have a little patience. It doesn't really cover though, just straight up like dirt and filth and things breaking, like physically breaking off. That's not what a tech rehearsal is, right? So a friend of the channel, Mr. Universal Core. And I've been following this guy for a while. He's a great follow, huge Universal fan. Obviously, it's in his, that's his name on Twitter, right? And also, I just want to say he has fantastic sources at Universal. I don't know who they are, but he tends to be correct with his scoops more times than not. But January 13th, he tweets this out. Okay, he says Universal Creative will need to fix this before opening to the public. And as you can see here, there's just a whole little section of the facade just completely missing, and all the show lighting mechanisms and all that stuff is purely visible, right? In my last video I made about this, I showed this. It's extremely bad show, and again, has nothing to do with the tech rehearsal. This kind of stuff should not be happening if guests are walking into this land, okay? There's no excuses for this. So he tweeted that on January 13th. Yesterday, Core retweeted himself with this. He says, this tweet was referenced in an internal memo from Nintendo to Universal Creative. They're not happy. Now, for those people at home that are not familiar with what Universal Creative is, it's basically Universal's Imagineering, right? The people that design the attractions and what have you for Universal, they're called Universal Creative. Now, the people that dare to criticize the appearance of Super Nintendo World get called all kinds of names, including myself. When I made those 2 videos recently, I got called a hater and I'm just a jealous Disney fanboy. Ha ha ha, you're just jelly. Furthest thing from the truth. I just went to Universal this past weekend. I had an absolute blast, okay? I do not want to see Universal fail. I'm not a Universal hater. I'm showing. When I make these kind of videos, I'm bringing it to people's attention, and I think when you do that, it's good for Universal because then they're aware of it and they can go in there and fix it, right? Well, apparently that's exactly what happened here. In that his tweet somehow got to Nintendo, and it was referenced in an internal memo from Nintendo to Universal Creative. And here's the thing: Nintendo is a stickler for quality. They are known to just cancel games because the quality just isn't there. During the whole lead up to the opening of Nintendo World, a lot of fans were super excited about Nintendo World because they know Nintendo is a stickler for quality, that they would push Universal in a direction of a really, really high quality product, right? So everyone knows this. This is not some secret. Nintendo is very quality focused. Okay. And there's going to be people out there, and I've already seen it on Twitter, trying to discredit Universal Core. Oh, he's full of crap. This is bullshit. It's fake news. Look, I told you before, Universal Core has an excellent track record when it comes to scooping Universal. Also, what he's saying here isn't that different than what we've been hearing forever, that Universal is really particular with the quality. Okay, this is not out of the realm of possibility that this is happening here. And honestly, it's not good for Universal. You do not want to piss off Nintendo. Okay, you have a lot of plans with Nintendo going forward with Nintendo World expansions like Donkey Kong and what have you. We've even heard rumors of like a Zelda area, maybe things like that. You don't want to piss off Nintendo to the point where Nintendo picks up its marbles and says, we're going home. We don't want to work with you anymore, Universal, if it's going to tarnish our brand that we have tried to manage and maintain for all these decades. Okay. I can see why Nintendo is upset. I can see why they're like, no, we're not having this. And I'm telling you right now, if Universal does not get their act together and clean this up and maintain it properly going forward, they're going to have big problems with Universal. They're going to have big problems licensing out that Nintendo IP, because Nintendo's not going to stand for that. They will absolutely not stand for that. So Universal Core actually has another tweet in regards to this, which is even more fascinating. I'm going to bring it up right now. Okay. And the original tweet is from Donnie Black Marvel. And Donnie says, if this is true, then good. Universal needs to be held accountable. I agree, Donnie. Not too many fans hold Universal accountable. Everything is swept under the rug, ignored, mental gymnastics to justify it because they're not the big bad mouse. So we're just going to turn the other cheek and just ignore any kind of problems at Universal. That's not good. That's not good for Universal. You're not doing Universal any fucking favors when you don't call them out for crapping the bed. And fans constantly want to do this. Now I'm seeing a little bit more critique in Universal's direction, and that's fantastic. You got to hold them accountable. Otherwise, the quality will slip and slip and slip because they think they can get away with it. Okay. So Donnie goes on here, says, so many exposed metalwork from the animatronics from the second story. Now, keep in mind here, folks, keep in mind here, you can't avoid the second story. There's only one ride in the entire land, which is Mario Kart. And in order to ride Mario Kart, you have to go into the second story, onto the second story. That's part of the queue. So everyone is going through that second story platform, looking down, seeing all this stuff, okay? I'm hoping these get covered like in Japan, but Hollywood is known to cheap out. Universal Core, quote, retweets him, FYI, Universal didn't even notify Nintendo of technical rehearsals. Just shows the lack of communication. Lack of communication. Nintendo, telling you guys, this might fly with other companies. This kind of stuff, these kind of antics that Universal was pulling here with Nintendo, with just the quality, the maintenance, not being up to par, not filling them in regards to tech rehearsals and when that's going to be. This stuff is not sitting well with Nintendo. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that. And look, I don't know what the contract is with Universal. I have no idea. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do. But honestly, I would be really, if I was Universal, I would definitely sit up and take notice, because if the Universal Nintendo contract isn't as ironclad as, say, the Universal Marvel contract, okay, you might want to kiss Nintendo's ass a little bit, Universal, because you know what? Nintendo might just walk away. Now, look, there's nothing they can do about the lands that already currently exist. Japan, Hollywood, even Epic Universe is probably too far along. But going forward, there is a possibility if this kind of stuff continues, Nintendo is going to decide that, it's just not worth doing business with Universal. Maybe the Zelda stuff goes to Disney. Maybe Nintendo just has enough and says, you know what, the Zelda stuff, we'll go to Disney. And again, I don't know the details of the contract. I don't know if it's a blanket contract for all Nintendo properties that go to Universal, or if Universal only has the licensing rights to certain things like Mario and Donkey Kong. I don't know. But if I'm Universal, I'm sitting up, I'm taking notice of this, and I'm going to do everything that Nintendo wants, because this could be a disaster for Universal if they don't get their shit together. An absolute disaster. So this is fascinating stuff, you guys. And look, I'm telling you, I was called a hater and a jealous Disney fanboy and yada, yada, yada. Yada, yada, yada. And here we are. Nintendo themselves are mad. This isn't about jealous fanboys. This is about bad show. This is about a product, Nintendo, that people love and expect a certain level of quality. And honestly, in a lot of ways, Universal is not delivering on that same level of quality. They're just not. So anyway, this was a fascinating kind of development. Like I said before, a lot of people are going to try to discredit Universal Core. I've personally followed him for a very, very long time on Twitter. He knows his stuff when it comes to Universal. Okay, he knows his stuff. A lot of his scoops come to fruition. He's not a Universal hater. He loves Universal. That's why his name is Universal Core. So all that stuff is just nonsense. All that is are shills trying to protect their brand. They don't want any kind of negative, anything that looks bad appearance-wise for Universal. We got to discredit this. We got to discredit the messenger. That's all that is. That's all that is. And I'm telling you right now, we might hear more about this from other sources as well. You never know. More might come out on this whole Universal Nintendo kind of riff. We'll see. But what do you guys think? I want you to comment down below with all your thoughts on this, potential kind of tension between Nintendo and Universal in regards to how Nintendo World is kind of looking during these tech rehearsals. What are your thoughts on the tech rehearsals? I would love to hear from you. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day.